In today's episode, you'll learn how to repurpose and republish old podcast episodes. Welcome to Podcasting Q&A, where you learn the best tips and strategies to launch, grow, and monetize your show. This week's question comes from Tim.
Hey guys, my name is Tim from Melbourne, Australia, and I'm podcasting as Thinking Nutrition. My question is about republishing podcasts. I've been podcasting for about a year, doing a weekly episode show, and I'm getting to the stage where I'd like to just republish some of my more popular podcast episodes, particularly at times where I want to take a little bit of a break from podcasting. So my question is, what is the best practice around republishing podcasts? Should you record a new brief introduction? And importantly, how should you flag this in the title of the episode to show that your listeners that this is a republished podcast? Thanks very much and love your work, guys.
Thanks for your question, Tim. Repurposing and republishing older podcast episodes is a great way to take a break without missing any of your publishing dates, without affecting your publishing frequency. And it can be a way to highlight some popular episodes from the past that some of your current listeners may not have heard before. But one thing you need to keep in mind is you don't want your listeners to feel like they're getting a bait and switch, where they showed up to your podcast, they downloaded that new episode expecting to hear something new, and they heard a podcast episode they've already heard before. So today we'll talk about 2 ways that you can repurpose old content and make it fresh for your current listeners, and how to title your podcast episode so people know what they're getting into when they download that episode. The first way that you can repurpose or republish your older podcast content is take the entire episode and drop it into your feed as a new episode. Now, if you're going to do this, I would recommend recording a new introduction. Explain to your listeners why re-listening to this content is worth their time. Maybe the circumstances have changed. Maybe it's more relevant now than when you recorded it. Or maybe it's a really, really good interview that not a lot of people have heard yet. Maybe you had fewer listeners, and so you want more people to hear that particular episode. Whatever the case is, make sure that you explain it in the intro so people that have been with you for a while can hear that intro and decide for themselves if they want to keep listening to the rest of the episode. And for your newer listeners that may not have heard that episode before, it's just going to be free new content for them, so they don't even mind that you're republishing that content in your feed. The second approach to repurposing your old content is to do mashup episodes, where you take clips from previous episodes and put them together and create something new. So let's say that you have a business podcast, and over the last couple of years, you have covered the hiring process, how to get hired, how to get a great job, how to nail the interview multiple times and in multiple ways. You could take the best bits, the best audio clips from all those episodes and make one awesome master episode that you can share with your audience. You don't have to re-record those segments. You just chop them up, rearrange them, and put it together for your listeners. The other thing you can do is a best of podcast episode. So if you have a recurring guest that comes on multiple times, maybe it's a family friend or an expert that you have a really close relationship with, you can create a best of from that person. So Tim Ferriss, a very popular podcaster, has done this multiple times, where he'll take a really popular guest that he's recorded multiple interviews with, and he'll create a super interview of all of their best tips. So that's something else that you can do. Now, how do you actually title these episodes, these republished, these repurposed episodes, so that people know it's older content, but they still want to listen to it? They still feel like it's going to be worth their time. Well, number one, be transparent. If it's an old episode, if it's older content, you want to communicate that in the title. Again, you don't want your listeners to feel that bait and switch, that they came in with the expectation of hearing new content from you and they got something old instead. So you can use words like rewind or replay or, back catalog or something like that, where when they see that word, they're going to instantly know, okay, this isn't current. This is from sometime in the past, but depending on what it is, I might still want to listen to it. And then from there, consider what you can say that would intrigue someone, pique their curiosity, and make them want to check out that particular episode. That's a good practice for podcast titles in general, but particularly when it comes to republished or repurposed episodes, what can you say that will get someone to click on that episode and want to listen through the entire thing? Thanks for your question, Tim. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on a future episode of the show, just go to speakpipe.com/Buzzsprout or click the link in the show notes to leave us a brief audio message. Podcasting Q&A is available both as a video and a podcast. So if you prefer video, just head over to the Buzzsprout YouTube channel, what you're watching this video on probably, and hit subscribe to get future episodes. And if you're more of an audio person, you can find Podcasting Q&A in your favorite podcast listening app. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for listening. And as always, keep podcasting.